everybody for jumping on. We have Rangers EVP and General Manager Chris Young and Senior Director of Amateur Scouting Kipp Fagg to talk about the selection of the Rangers' first round pick. And I will turn it over to Chris.
Thank you, John. We are thrilled to announce the selection of Jack Leiter tonight as the second overall pick. Jack is someone we've zeroed in for a while. He fits everything that we are trying to accomplish as an organization, from a player, a competitor, the talent, but most importantly, the person. This is someone who is a tremendous person, comes from a tremendous family. I've known his dad, Al. I got to meet his mom, Lori. Certainly, we're super excited to welcome all of the Leiters into the Ranger family, and it's a great night for our organization. It's a great night for the Leiter family, and we couldn't be more thrilled. I'd like to take a second also and recognize the work that our scouting department has done in preparation of this draft. I didn't know what to expect coming in, and seeing how hard Kipp and all of our scouts have worked, how they've scoured the country to find the right talent for the Texas Rangers. We're super excited about the next 2 days, but this is certainly a special night in our franchise history. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kipp to say a few words.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We're super excited. I mean, all the work that went into this pick, and following Jack since way back in high school, and tracking him to up to this point at Vanderbilt. I just kind of want to recognize a couple scouts. Derek Tucker was the area guy that covered Vanderbilt this year. T-Money, who kind of identified Jack in high school before he kind of got famous too, and just super excited here. The pictures, it doesn't come across very in many drafts of my 29 years of scouting. He's a special kid. He's a special talent. And I can't say how excited I am personally, and our scouting staff also. So a great day for the Texas Rangers.
Okay, with that, we will take questions. So just raise your hands, and we'll take questions for Chris and Kipp. And we'll start with Chris Halleck.
What is it about Jack? If you have to pick just one thing, what is one thing about Jack that just makes him stand out above everybody else?
You take it.
Yeah, he's a unique guy. It's a smaller package, but very powerful, athletic, and the fastball probably played as good as any fastball I've seen in all my years of scouting. I'd say that's probably the one thing.
I guess this one could be for Chris. Obviously, Jack is a guy who was highly sought after. Is there any concern about signability or anything like that?
No, Chris. We fully expect to sign him. We wouldn't have taken him if we didn't, and we're very thrilled that we're going to have this opportunity.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go to Levi.
I guess this is for both of you guys. As you're watching the mock drafts, and there's just, I think everybody had a bunch of different ideas what was going to happen. But when the Pirates took Henry Davis with the first pick, and it looked like you guys had a choice of Leiter, also Meyer was on the board. What did that at all give you guys pause and think, is this still the direction we want to go, and then make that decision, or were you guys just honed in on Leiter the whole time?
In my mind, Jack was on top of our board for a long time. He was the kind of guy we were zeroing in on, and kind of not knowing what Pittsburgh was going to do for a while. So when we kind of found out a little bit prior that they were taking Henry Davis, we were very excited that we were going to get Jack.
Thing to add to that.
I'm sorry.
I was just asking if you had anything to add.
No, as Kipp said, Jack's been our guy for a while. I think that we really were going through contingency plans in case Pittsburgh did take him. But when we found out that we were going to have the opportunity to select him, there was no second guessing or second thoughts. We were thrilled. Our group was thrilled. It was a great reaction. It was a fun night.
Kennedy.
Hey, Chris, or I guess this could be for Kipp too, but the last time we talked to y'all, you said you still had some conversations to go through. What has the last few conversations looked like as you, I guess, zeroed in on Jack, like you said?
Well, I'll take the first part of this, Kennedy. I think that really understanding, whether we were going to have a chance to draft Jack. I mean, I think that, we were behind Pittsburgh. We had to wait until they made their selection. I think I'm not sure when they finalized their selection, but, within the last half hour, 20 minutes before the draft, we got confirmation that we were going to be able to draft Jack. And like I said, we couldn't have been more excited as a group.
I don't know, did Kipp want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, when you do this job, you always want to plan for every possible scenario, and not knowing what Pittsburgh was going to do, even though Jack was on top of our board, we had to, kind of put in the plan in place if Pittsburgh did indeed take Jack. So we were prepared, but it fell the right way for us for sure.
That's one, just Chris, you mentioned Al. How well do you know him? And the two of you kind of, I don't remember if your careers overlapped at all, but how well do you know him?
We, I got to know Al mainly post-career, working in the commissioner's office, and Al spent some time works for the network, and so I was able to, spend time with him, whether it's at All-Star games or different events, and then certainly seeing him as I went to see Jack pitch this year at Vanderbilt. So it was great to see him, to reconnect. He's someone I admire. We actually, Al kind of brought it up. He made the connection that we actually started against each other. Al got the win that night, so he has bragging rights. But somebody that I respect, one as a person, secondly as a player. There's no doubt the influence he's had on Jack and his development, and we expect that to continue. Certainly, it's a special family, and we're very, very excited to have Jack and the entire Leiter family as part of our Texas Ranger club.
Evan.
Yes, when exactly did he move to the top of your old draft board? How long ago?
It's been there for a while. I mean, personally, we have, everybody's got their own little pref list, our scouts. But I can speak for myself personally. He's been on the top of mine for a long time, Evan.
But, I mean, when you say a while or a long time, I mean, are we talking weeks, a month, longer than that?
Yeah, months.
Months, okay. Kipp, and this is for both you guys, but I know the talent and the best player is what you draft, but with this kid, when you talk about the package and you do talk about the family, Kipp, you look at your watch. Am I taking too long with the question?
No, I'm all right. I got the draft's going on. I got people texting things, Evan. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. But when you talk about the package and you talk about the family that he comes from, being a second-generation Major League player, or hopefully a second-generation player, the program he pitched in, how much does all of that factor in terms of making him stand out?
I think those are all pieces of the puzzle with him, and obviously he had the background, his father, Jack pitching, Team USA, Vanderbilt, pitching meaningful games along the way with Team USA and at Vanderbilt was a big part of this, and just getting to know the kid, the family, what he's about, what drives him, what his makeup's about. It was an easy decision at the end of the day.
Hey, Chris, can you address that too? Because I just wanted to get your perspective on the same kind of elements of the whole package.
Yeah, Evan, I was familiar with Jack before I took this job, just in terms of knowing, his high school background, obviously Al's son, pitching at Vanderbilt. And then as I came into this job, I've spent an immense amount of time on the amateur scouting side this year. I've seen all of these players at the top of the board. I've spent time with almost all of them. I all along in my heart felt like Jack was the right one for the Texas Rangers. What I see is a winning player. I see a winner, and I'm confident that he is going to help enhance what we're building. He's going to make the players around him better. He's a leader. He's a great teammate. He's an unbelievably hard worker. He embodies everything that we want in terms of our culture and what we want in our players. And I'm just thrilled that we had the opportunity to draft him tonight.
Last thing for you guys. I know you don't pay a ton of attention to chatter, but there certainly was a lot of chatter that the Lighters might try and get themselves to Boston. You guys had firsthand knowledge of conversations. How did you work through any of that notion in y'all's head?
Well, we didn't really worry about Boston, Evan. We picked in front of them. So, I mean, they couldn't really do much, so we weren't really concerned about that.
Evan, to add to that, I would say that I think we did a great job of showing the Leiter family what we represent, who we are, and why it's a great match, and vice versa, in getting to know Jack and understanding him and the person he is. Again, it's what we feel like is a perfect match.
Okay, Jeff.
He threw 110 innings this year. Have you guys laid out a development plan for this season?
That's one of the things we talked to Jack about in the last few days as we kind of tied up the loose ends here, and certainly I think the most important part of that, it involves the players' input, and I think that as we get him, hopefully in a Ranger uniform soon, we'll kind of map that out and decide. But Jack certainly is going to have input into that. We are very cognizant of the workload, especially coming off of a COVID season, and again, we're going to do what's in the best interest of the player and the organization for the long haul here. Our goal is that Jack Leiter's helping us win championships, and the rest of this season, if he pitches, great. If he doesn't, that's just as great.
And then I know every player comes at his own pace, but I think with the college pitcher, the idea is that he will be in the major league sooner than later. So how do you guys view that?
For myself personally, Jeff, I think he's going to tell us, and I think when Jack Leiter gets out there and starts pitching in the Texas Rangers uniform, he should come quick, but he's going to tell us for sure.
Yeah, Jeff, just to elaborate on that, I think Kipp's exactly right. This is performance based, and our expectation is, given his talent, his work ethic, his motivation, his competitiveness, all the things that we look for, the expectation is that it'll be fairly quick. But I think it's also important not to place expectations on him. Every player develops at their own pace. Certainly, we're fully confident that he's going to be able to handle those expectations. But nonetheless, in fairness to the player, he will tell us based on his performance.
Not next week.
Okay, Jared.
Hey guys, from a data side, what are the things that stood out about Jack, and maybe what are the areas of potential growth that you're excited about?
Well, from a data standpoint, it was like I said before, it's an elite fastball, probably one of the better ones that I've tracked as a scout, and with my eyes along with the data showed that it was an elite fastball. And he's got two breaking balls that are a chance to be plus. The command he needs to get better at, which he's gonna in the future, but they show up very well analytically also, Jared. He's muted.
You muted.
He's able to have great success in the zone, and I guess watching him, that's pretty apparent. Other than the fastball, what is it about the way he attacks that allows him to have such great success within the strike zone?
He's a super aggressive kid, competitive, goes at hitters with elite stuff. So that's what we expect when we get him here in the Rangers uniform. Also, he's gonna be the same kind of pitcher. But I know with the way we handle pitchers in our organization, especially on the minor league level before he gets to the big leagues, and along when he gets to the big leagues, also we're gonna keep developing him as a pitcher. And with all the work our guys do and pitching coaches, the strength and conditioning, everything that's going to go into making Jack Leiter the best pitcher he can be, and it's gonna show up here shortly for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we'll take a few more. Kevin?
Chris, how confident are you that this deal will get done? Because there's been at least one case in the last year when it wasn't.
I'm extremely confident, Kevin. In knowing who Jack is and what he's about, and certainly knowing what we're about, I think this is just a perfect situation. I'm very confident. That said, there's a business component to it, but I think we'll work through that.
And you talked about the other day about how hard y'all have worked, to get to know these guys and at the top of the draft and where they're coming from. And I'm wondering here, when y'all made this pick, how much of this is based on the fact that he is such a good pitcher? How much of it is the fact that you think that this particular guy is what gets us closer to being where we want to be as an organization?
Well, I think most importantly, from the baseball standpoint, he was the best pitcher in college baseball, in our opinion, and I think that he's a tremendous pitcher. I think the talent speaks for itself. Certainly, we wouldn't have drafted him this high if we weren't infatuated with the talent. We certainly recognize how special he is as a baseball player, but I think just as importantly, the person as well. He makes the other players around him better. He elevates his team, and to me, that's what championship teams have, and that's what our expectation is with Jack in time.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, John Ranigan.
Hey, Kipp, I wonder, his makeup, obviously, I know that's so important to you guys. The fact that his dad not only pitched in the big leagues, but, was part of 3 World Series champions, a couple-time All-Star. What does that do in getting to know this young man for his makeup?
It means something, and obviously coming from the lineage he comes from, and Dad being a really good big leaguer, 3 championships. I mean, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and I think that's the case here. So, just the other components that Jack brings to the table. Also, Lori, his mother, is a tremendous person, and I think he's got a good combination of both his parents. So, we're very excited.
Chris, we seem to be in an era of kids, of major league players excelling and succeeding at the major league level. How is that such a part of this generation, do you think?
Well, John, I saw it with teammates during my career and their children who've gone on to play professionally, and I think what it does is create sort of a mentality and expectation within the child's mind that they grow up around baseball. They grow up playing on a big league field with their dad. It's second nature to them. And look, there's no guarantees here, I recognize, but certainly given everything that Jack represents and who he is and the mental makeup and sort of that pedigree that he comes from, I think it enhances our confidence. And I can't emphasize how excited we are.
Congratulations, guys.
Okay, this will be the last 2. Levi?
So I know you said you don't want to necessarily put any expectations on the kid just yet, so that this I'll try to phrase this delicately, but the Rangers have not really developed a homegrown ace in quite a while, and I know there's some guys at AA that are doing really well this year, and it's got some guys in the system, but was that at all a factor in making this decision of the Rangers need a homegrown pitcher that they can sort of hang their hat on, or was it very simply just, hey, this is the best guy that's available, we're taking this guy?
Levi, for me, it was this is the best player. That's what it is. We didn't draft on need or history. This was the best player who fit the Texas Rangers, and that's the bottom line. So I'm fully confident in our player development and what we're doing right now on the pitching side. Been very, very pleased, and I think that we're doing a lot of really good things. I think it's showing with the results of our pitching on the minor league side right now. We've just added, or we're going to add, an elite talent to the pitching depth that we currently have, and I think we're well positioned moving forward.
Thank you.
Okay, this will be the last one. Evan?
Hey, Chris, I heard Kipp talk on the scouting side, but I wanted to get your perspective. Somebody once told me, go Google characteristics of Jack Leiter's fastball. So what is your description of how the fastball plays?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of seeing it with my own eyes, and then again matching that up with the data and the analytics that we have on him, it is a unique fastball. The fastball quality he has is unbelievably unique. It's a separator, Evan, and again, Kipp touched on it, but I think what I saw with my eyes matched exactly what we see in terms of analytics, and it only confirmed from our scouting perspective exactly what makes Jack special. He's got a breaking ball, a slider, and a curveball that both showed improvement over the course of the season, and then a changeup that's really, really good that he did not throw. And so, I say that pitchers like this, when he's got unique characteristics, he is not pitched. He is not fully matured yet as a pitcher. The best is still yet to come. I'm fully convicted in that.
And is there any kind of description of what the fastball does in your mind? I mean, Jared Jared mentioned how successful he was in the zone, but how would you describe what the fastball does so well?
It's really fast, Evan.
Goes hard.
It's electric. I mean, it's got a unique vertical approach angle. It's got great life to it, deception. He's got great extension. It's just a special fastball.
Thank you for the explanation that he.
Well, I didn't know how simple I needed to make it for you, Evan, but I'm glad you got it.
Eventually, I do. Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Okay.